Australia. Bum bada bum bada bum. Bum bada bum bada bum. Bum bada 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 bum bum ba bum. Australia. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on the channel. Bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba da 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 bum ba bum ba da bum ba da bum bum ba da 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 bum done. Bum ba da bum. The history and geography of Australia. Bum ba da bum ba da ba. Ba da bum bum ba bum. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode of the channel. And today we'll be talking about the history and the geography of Australia. So how about we get started? Now, firstly, let's start with the little history of Australia. Come on, just keep it real. Find it. Now, the history of Australia, how is it supposed to be? Well, it turns out let's start with the basics. Now, we all know where Australia is. It's just that how does it work is what we're asking. Now, we all know what Australia sort of looks like. It sort of looks like this. And that it has a lot, it's like a continent that it looks almost like an island, but it is too big to be an island. And that's why it is called a continent. Now, it was said that Captain James Cook discovered this place, but he didn't. Now, this guy over here, this is Captain James Cook, but he was not the person who discovered the Australian continent. And in turn, it was actually somebody else that did that. Now, this is Australia. It's an awesome country. But it turns out there are also some sort of things that need to work out on all of these things. Now, we know what the flag looks like. It's this. Let me try a quick drawing. Like it's the flag with the flag of England here. The flag of England. It's a little smaller, and then you make it bigger again. Yeah, it's this. Basically, it's this. And then there's just some sort of things that don't sort of need to happen. And yeah, this, as we know, is the map of Australia. Now, long ago, people thought it was connected. How the Aborigines came was by a little land bridge that connected these two together. And then the second wave of them came later. And that this happened, where the Aborigines were like on boats. Quickly, put them on boats before they go. And that they sailed all their way to the place, bringing with them some sort of cultures with them. And that's how they sort of had some of these quencho with them. Like, they create a lot of languages, but only a few of them have survived today. And as we know, this is an awesome opportunity for some time to be off with them. Okay, so these are pretty much these are the control settings I used. Okay, this is a little behind the scenes. And now let's talk about this. Now, firstly, this place over here is an awesome place. It's pretty much some sort of a country. Now, as I said earlier, it's too big to be a country. I mean, too big to be an island, even though it's technically an island. So we call it a continent. So it actually don't count it as a island. Come on. Eventually, when we do a lot of things, they sort of come out of business. Now, we usually give out Captain James Cook to be the discoverer of it, but eventually Captain James Cook's discovery was used more than mere shenanigans. Now, how do I do this? Now back to here. It was more than mere shenanigans. And eventually, Australia itself was actually used as a slave colony, and it was called New South Wales. Welcome to New South Wales. Of all kind, either kind, and all criminals, no matter what, men, women, and even sometimes children, found their ways along all of these places. Now, it turns out there are just some things that don't sort of happen as we sort of think of them, they do, but it turns out that they are pretty much incognito. And eventually they freed themselves. Wait a second. Eventually they freed themselves from their ropes and put up a rebellion. Rebellion time. And once they got the rebellion up, they decided to create a peace treaty, and finally all the colonies were free. Yippee! Yippee for the men! Yippee for the women! Yippee for the children! But now let's go and fast forward all the way to World War II, where New Zealand and New Zealand and Australia have to fight a lot of people during World War II. And these people are sort of bad people to them. Now, now they have been doing a lot of war things, and they created this society, the Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. Actually, I'll write that better for you. Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. Or shorter version, ANZACS. ANZACS. Eventually, a lot of people died during the failed invasion of Turkey and the Ottoman Empire. And a lot of people have sacrificed their lives. Eventually, a few of the people, a majority, like some of the people, like 10% of the people of Australia signed up for this. This is why there's a lot of unharmonious things that happened here and a lot of deaths in World War II. And we should be grateful of the Anzacs people because they helped us, the Allies, to do a lot of things. And today, in the modern day, there is a lot of things that we can deal with. Today, in the modern day of Sydney, of a lot of places of Australia, there is a lot of progressions. The Sydney Opera House, my best drawing of the Sydney Opera House. Sorry if it's a little messed up. The Sydney Opera House. Opera House. Sydney Opera House and everything else like the bridge, the Harbour Bridge. And I've been to Australia. I've actually been to Australia before. I'll tell you when I went there. And I went there in 2019 of December 21st all the way to the 29th. And I created a few video plays about it, and this is where I got my favorite, well, actually one of the favorite stuffed animals, Penny, the penguin. Also, my family watched a lot of animals, and we've been able to see what was it called? Yeah, the Blue Mountains. Which, why is it called the Blue Mountains? Well, let me tell you. Because of all the eucalyptus trees. Because of all the eucalyptus trees out there. Which I'll represent here. It's sort of, because of the eucalyptus trees out there, it sort of looks a lot like bluish to a lot of people. And that's why it's called the Blue Mountains. It's a bluish green tinge in there. And also, when I was there, it was pretty foggy because of, yeah, all those stuff. Wait a second, let me change the grayscale here to this foggy. It was also very foggy, so it wasn't that blue. And we couldn't see a lot of it so well. And why was it foggy? Well, it was because of the bushfires that happened when I was there. The bushfires were almost out of control back then, and they were like out of control. And we couldn't even think of how to stop them. But eventually it like took 6 months to stop them. And that was a while. There was an Australian fire season. There's a daily Australian fire season, but it usually lasts for days, weeks, and usually just a month. But then we were looking at months and months here. In January 2021, it was finally stopped. Luckily, but a lot of the Blue Mountains forest and a lot of koalas died. And speaking of koalas, let's talk about animal groups. Now we should start with the kangaroos. They're pretty awesome animals. Now kangaroos can hop really high. If this was a kangaroo, hop higher, then fall back down. Like this would be like miles. And this will be like miles. I'm kind of exaggerating. And now this might look like a kangaroo, but it's actually a wallaby. Now wallabies are similar to kangaroos, except they have shorter, flatter tails. I'm not sure if that's the tail. Well, actually it doesn't show here. While kangaroos have longer and sturdier tails, when they slap down, you can hear a crack sound. Now we have to talk about koalas. Now these are like unforgivable. We cannot do anything without. We cannot talk about Australian animals without mentioning these guys. Now these koalas are pretty much a good species group, and they are not bears, by the way. They're actually a type of marsupials, and they do a lot of marsupial-y things. Now these marsupial-y things, they're like really cute, even though they're not bears, even though a lot of people mistaken them to be bears, well, when they're not. And also a lot of things sort of happen to them as they sort of mature a lot. They grow really slow when you think about it, and they're pretty slender and sleeky. It just sort of happens that they eat mainly eucalyptus leaves, and that they only eat eucalyptus leaves and sleep most of the day. And to think about them being endangered is like thinking about Ruth Radolph doing some sort of a dance in the public. But that's for another episode. Also, I have no idea where I got that name and where I got that metaphor. But as we know, a lot of Australian animals are getting endangered every day as we're speaking right now. But as the koalas are estimated to be extinct by 2050 unless we work hard onto them. And this is why we have to work hard into being great animal savers and great animal keepers. Even though we might not even think of these koalas or any of the other animals as very important, we still need to talk about these guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and now enjoy all of this beautiful artwork before we end this video. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, buck, buck. Bing, bing, bing. Buck, big, papa, book. Buck, big, buck. Duck, 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 duck. And Zax. Dun, dun, Captain James Cook. Australia. So I hope you guys are having a very wonderful time. And this December, I will be releasing these 2 videos. Hope to see ya. Shannon out and peace.